A quick brief. In this video, I'll be talking about Arkham Asylum and its portrayal of, an asylum and mental health. I have history with a mental institute before, but not to the point where I get to be in the psych ward, though at certain time in life I was considering it. This is a bit personal and a heavy topic for certain viewers, so if you are not feeling okay with these kind of videos, it is fine to leave it as is. I am not a psychologist or a professional therapist like mental health provider, so this video is made entirely for the purpose of entertainment and educational, but not to the point of romanticizing mental health. In a briefing. Arkham Asylum, the world's highly secure mental institute. Gotham City bleeds criminals. There's no end to it. They don't get treated. They don't get any care they deserve. Instead, they get transferred to an asylum that separates them from the rest of Gotham. When you think of it like that, it makes you realize that it's more of a prison, isn't it? Considering some inmates from Blackgate Prison. Locked away by the wardens, never to see a life reborn from all the self-reflection while they're being kept. The purpose of prison is to imprison dangerous criminals that pose threats against society. I understand this for those who have record of repeated attempt or, success at unlawful behavior. But I do not condone this for those with petty act of crime. That's just plain wrong, especially not for those who are just mentally ill and needed help. They don't deserve to be put alongside these insane patients and dangerous criminals. Quite a contrast to modern-day mental institute. It's very grim and unethical. But it's not too far from reality. There's mental institute out there that might not be as bad, but the service and care can be a bit more desirable. In the city I live in, we have our own mental institute, which is way better than the general hospital therapy session. Better staff and actual care, based on me and my sibling experience. The mental institute has been taking care of me for almost 2 years now. It starts off small, but I now need intensive care because my case can be quite orange, quite red. Basically, I'm the emergency patient. I might not look the part, but trust me, they take this case very seriously, which I myself appreciated. Though the asylum or psych ward as they are called nowadays is a different story. I've never been into one, but my mom has. For a month or two when I was young. Most likely when the stock market crashed and impacted global economy. It was pretty bad for all of us. Due to that, my mom has to be put into intensive care. More than what I've been through though. I thought I would need it at one point, but I couldn't just leave my family behind. They need me, so I stay home, taking pills. The therapist who currently treating me diagnosed me and prescribed me the medication. They even suggest me to stay at the institute, which I declined because of family. I've been doing better now, connecting with people, getting the right amount of support. That's the right way to treating a mental patient. Give them the amount of care they needed, system of support. If you're alone, you can still reach out to hotline or even chat room with volunteers and experts, because unlike Arkham Asylum, we are doing better. Arkham Asylum, as depicted in a comic and the game, are unethical and leave patients and criminals in the same cell. Yes, cell, just like in prison, not room for treatment or care. Though there's usually a therapy session, if even you can call it that. Most of it was recording session of patient of the insane criminal, serious case like the Joker for example. The asylum want to understand him. Perhaps there's a cure for him, but we all know better. Joker isn't sick. He's the sickness of Gotham. There may be crazies of Gotham due to corruption and bribes. The city itself isn't a shining jewel that is safe for anyone. People compete at each other, corrupted and rotten to the core. Is it a matter of survival or is it just for their own seed of greed? exploitation of the Gotham City itself can reflect not just to Arkham Asylum, it reflects us with some mental institute which I'm not going to name, but their poor job at treatment and care, mostly poor service from the nurses, like the one in my city, but I guess we gotta give them a break for what they've gone through. Though personally, if it is to be your duty, then you must serve the cause. There are no excuses, only betterment for the staff and patients, for a better future, for everyone's sakes. If a city bleeds patients, then there must be those who's willing to care and treat them. It's just like any illness or disorder. The stigma of mental health can be quite a barrier for anyone that seeks to find betterment for themselves or for their family, friends, loved ones. Arkham Asylum isn't a place for treatment. That, most of us know, is a place to keep people still, without treatment or care. But the Arkham Asylum isn't the root of it. The root of the insane and criminals is the Gotham City itself. Like I mentioned before, it's corrupted. It's a sickness in a suit. Walk past it and by us every day. And we don't even bat an eye on it, pun intended. When we think of the mentally ill person, it varies, depends on where you're standing. If you haven't ever made a contact with anyone that struggled through mental health, you most likely only grasp the basic of it. But they are deep issue, complex, and unique to each their own. Gotham City is unique in its own way. Just like Thailand, it may not be the most corrupted country in the world, but there's corruption in it alright. It's not a perfect so-called free world country. Even the most successful free world country has corruption in a way. The question is, how are we supposed to treat it? As a citizen of a free country, I guess all of us has to be better than our present self. We could have a movement and spread awareness about it, but does something like that really work? In a small way they do. They set an example for the future, no matter how grim it will be or how blissful it will be. Otherwise, chaos will escalate it into an anarchy city. But that's a topic for another day. I'm not a Batman expert, so don't quote me on this, though you can quote me on that. I never really did read any comic about Batman and his city. But seeing how corruption is the main theme throughout all the Batman film I've seen, the Nolan's trilogy, and recent movie, The Batman, they're kind of scary to think that there's probably a Joker and other villain out there, hiding in plain sight. Some are in the system, enjoying the pleasure of corruption from the cause of others. The mental health care system has been improved since the 20th century. We have access to stronger and efficient medication, including better support system. That's what progression looked like, but it's quite the opposite for Gotham City and its residents. It has regressed. Instead of helping those in need, they neglect them and lock them up in a cell. I mean, it's understandable for a fictional setting, but people are still people. They were kept just like lab rats or even zoo animal, metaphorically speaking. Which in itself is a grim idea, considering zoo animals are either for preservation or just for entertainment. The treatment are inhumane for the patients and inmates. The warden, guard, or even medical staff are all in on it. Taxpayer money went into this. Instead of treating the mentally ill patients or helping violent inmates, turning them and helping them to become part of Gotham, citizen of Gotham, give them a new life and fresh air as they breathe in, they are being kept solemn and still, yet manic. I fear that's a fate worse than death, being forgotten by the whole world. You know, stuff like that happened in real life too. Back when we didn't have better healthcare system, we just called them crazy, psycho, and locked them all up. Without the care in the world, there was little to no treatment. They are treated like prisoners, so Arkham Asylum is not too far-fetched from the real thing. Though in a fictional setting, it's much more violent and exaggerated, but it is believable enough that we can immerse ourselves with it and understand it, like how we understand a real-world disorder and illness. A medium like this serves well for topics such as the mentally ill and insane. One man stands above them all, with the willpower and resilience to overcome everything Gotham throws at him. Batman. This section of the video is inspired by a video I came across, where the creator joked, why are they still in Gotham? Why bother living in a city where the hero is Batman? Though it was slightly meant to be a joke, it got me thinking. Wayne Enterprise is worth a fortune, and they provide Batman with high-tech tools, gears, and even transportation like the Batmobile. But in Arkham Asylum, most of the security measures include Wayne-tech equipment, which raise some questions. Are they paying their staff enough? The therapists, doctors, and security personnel? It seems like there's gun lockers everywhere, prepped for potential riot. These measurements might be justified for dealing with super criminals like the Joker or Killer Croc, but it makes you wonder, is Arkham Asylum being run more like a prison than a mental health institution? It appears that the focus is on reinforcing a prison-like environment rather than providing the care these patients need. Were they designed it to be a prison from the very beginning? I don't blame Batman for this. The transaction and decision likely go through the warden, staff, and guards. However, corruption plays a significant role here, a theme briefly explored in Arkham City. Gotham City created Batman, but in the sixth twist of fate, Batman created more villains. Each of them end up in the cells of Arkham, adding to the city's growing chaos. Batman's no-kill policy, while rooted in his sense of justice, allowed these villains to continue their reign of terror. Villains who kill get to kill more and more. But is this really justice? Is justice absolute, or is it subjective? Is the harm does to the present and future mean anything? Is it really worth it to let them roam free and cause more mayhem and chaos? It depends on the case, but what I'm certain of is this. Most people in their life, those without a record of repeated offense, doesn't stay as monsters as they once were. They can turn into a new leaf, but they are now labeled as outlaws. Is that to keep us safe or them? Batman Arkham Asylum and its sequel makes us question the injustice and unethical treatment of mentally ill people. Some people become therapists and move cities to cities to create themselves credit. They aren't serving their duty. They are doing a job to earn wage and salary. That is the simplest form of corruption, an invisible corruption, I call it. A selfish gain in a charitable environment. And they can't even see it themselves. This invisible corruption exists in every sector: security, healthcare, labor, even charitable work. But amidst all the negativity, I hold on to a positive belief we can get better. Life doesn't stay the same forever, even though it often feels that way. Amidst all the chaos and pain, do better, be better. Maybe it's hypocritical of me for saying this, but be selfish for your own well-being is fine, as long as it doesn't turn into corruption. You matter in the world. You exist. No matter what others say about you, you as a person, a soul, an instrument of the universe, do exist. Thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe. How cliche. You can follow me on X or Twitter. Donate me monthly on Patreon and once on Ko-fi. The links for all of that is in the description. This project takes quite a toll on my mental health, but I'm doing fine, and I hope you're doing fine too. This is part of the solo project, though I might make it a series, so by the time that the second video like this came out, it will become a series, because I have something to say about Arkham City. I shouldn't stall you for this long, but if you did watch to this point, comment down below on what you think about Arkham Asylum and the Gotham City. Are we going now? Bella ciao.